Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you like this right here though. This next chapter of my life, baby. This next chapter of my life is gonna have folk out here wishing that they would have treated me better. Understand that, baby. This next chapter of my life gonna have folk over there. They gonna have a heart full of regret. I wish I would have treated her better. I wish I would have loved her right. I wish I would have been there for her. I wish I would have valued her. I wish I would have respected her. Oh yeah, baby. I want you to understand this healing gonna look real good on me. This growth gonna look real good on me. This next chapter of my life, this next phase of my life, this next season of this here life of mine, baby, it's gonna make a lot of y'all gonna wish y'all would have treated me differently. Y'all gonna wish that y'all would have treated me better. Oh yeah, understand that, but I'm gone. Three places that you can stay for absolutely free. 3 of them. You ain't got to pay a doggone thing. Hear me. Understand that you can stay out my face for free. You can stay out my business for free. And you can stay out my way for free. Those things won't cost you a doggone thing. 3 places you can stay for absolutely free. Thank you.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good afternoon. I feel like I've seen a lot of you guys already today for like 4 hours. Nothing big at all. Thank you guys for coming back. I withheld some stuff from the morning show because I knew I was going to be doing this very particular show at 1 o'clock. I set all this stuff up this morning. And so I really didn't kind of dive in this morning on what I refer to as the Idaho 4. These are the university students that were murdered in their home. And this is a home. Let me just step back a little bit for this case. So on November 12th, this group of people, I don't even know if it's a group of people because the housing that they're in is off-campus housing. And if anybody has, kids or you yourself went to a university, you understand what off-campus housing is. It's basically campus-style housing off campus because, it's more affordable to be off campus than on campus. So some people pay the extra money to have on campus housing. Some people take it off campus. So in typical design, they don't really have the ability, like with the exception of maybe your best friend, for the example of Madison and Kaylee, they may have requested to be housed together or found a house that would take both of them in. And they shared these accommodations in these rooms. It's a 6-bedroom, 3-bath house. So it's 2-person to a bathroom, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they all pay it was 6 people, 1/6 of the rent, 1/6 of the utilities, 1/6. You go where I'm going with this. And so that was the kind of housing that they were in. And so Ethan and Zaina decided to go to a party at Sigma Chi, which was, in fair close proximity to the actual residence. There was a lot of misconceptions up front that Ethan lived in that home. He did not live in that home. He was actually staying the night with his girlfriend, Zaina, when this horrible thing transpired. However, they both sets of victims. So it was Zaina and Ethan went to the Sigma Chi party, and Madison and Kaylee went to the corner bar. And we see some videos that came out with Kaylee and Madison about going to, it was called the Grub Truck, which was on Main Street at about 1:40 in the morning. And they were seen with a gentleman. We're going to talk about that gentleman too, because, many people are questioning whether that was Maddie's boyfriend or / ex-boyfriend. There's some similarities because we don't have an identity for that person yet. And we're going to be discussing that. But this is something where there was total of, I believe, 7 people in the home. And 6 people in the home, and 4 of them were killed. 2 of them survived and apparently may not have even known what was going on. And so that has caused a lot of speculation, about the other 2 roommates. How could they not hear what was going on? How could they not know that there was a brutal attack going on in the house? And I'm hoping that we can at least clarify some things. This is not factual information because it didn't come from law enforcement, but this is some insight a little bit into what transpired out there in Idaho with these people, these victims. It's very, very sad. There's been a lot of speculation as to what could have happened to them. There has been people stating that it's possible a drug deal gone bad. It's possible of some type of entanglement. But you know what? To be honest with you, the more I'm researching this, and it was brought to my attention yesterday on the live, that this may be more premeditated in nature. And so I'm reviewing all of this stuff to see, is that the case? And it does, I have to be honest with you, hint in that, way, right? This is kind of the path that this is starting to lead us based on the information that is starting to come out. So I just wanted to take a few moments and say hi to a few of you before we get right into the program and right into the information. But this is not going to be a live like we had this morning. This is going to be more informative in nature, depending on how things are going and people's expertise in this that have followed this a little bit more. I may open up the phone lines or the chat or panel so we can have a more in-depth discussion on this if you guys so choose. But let's just go through some of the stuff that we've found out, or at least I found out over the last few days. Before we do, I just want to give a big shout out to Ruby Pearl. Good morning, or good afternoon rather. Mel Smith, Janice, Leonard Love, Rebecca Andes, Bird, Mama Fee, Emma, Ma of 3, June, nice to see you. Tummy Turbo, Tummy Turbo, Tummy Turbo. I'm already getting tongue-tied. I've been online too long, folks. I've been online way too long. Jeannie, nice to see you from Louisiana. Sue, Carla. I'm almost having to double check this because I'm starting to think my eyes are playing funny games with me, right? Mary, Sugar Plum, Claudia, ZZT, Kimmy, nice to see you guys all here. Katie, it's nice to see you as well. I believe I'm sure everybody else. Emma M, nice to see you. Donna. And everybody, I love coffee. I love that name. Did I tell you I'm addicted to this stuff? Like we branded a whole YouTube channel after this stuff. It's addictive. And I drank it all day long. And then I wonder why I'm having problems sleeping at night, right? So everybody else, Linda Lou, nice to see you. Everybody else is coming in. It's great to have you here this afternoon. I wish it was on better circumstances, but as most of the stuff that we cover here is never really good circumstances, to be honest with you, because we're in the true crime genre of YouTube and it's an ugly place out here. So we do, some things to try to lighten the mood a little bit here and there, try to make it as fun as possible without it. It's not fun. We're not over here having a house party or anything like that, but we do try to not make it. I guess as I would try to say is Dolly has come out and said I'm just entirely too serious, right? So we try not to be so serious all the time. And this case is just kind of disgusting. So I don't really know how much fun we're going to have with this, but it is a lot of information to help you decide what your opinion of this case is. But it does have the hallmarks of this being possibly a planned attack. And there's a few reasons for that. But I did want to go over just the timeline real quick. And here it is. And we know this from other channels, what the timeline is, but there are some things that I do want to talk about. This is also related to the 911 call. That's going to be one of the first things that we discuss here. By the way, guys, we have almost 900 people, 850 plus people in here. If you guys have not already liked this video, please go out there and give it a thumbs up. But around, 10 o'clock, it looks like about 10 o'clock to 1:30 in the morning, Kaylee and Maddie were at the Corner Club. At that same time, Ethan and Zaina were, attending a Sigma Chi party, which was in closer proximity to the home. So they got home about 1:45. It is alleged that everybody pretty much got home about the same time, around 1:45. And this is when where we saw that picture of that guy that was at the truck with them. And many people are speculating how in the world can they possibly have excluded that guy as a possibility. We don't know the reasons for why law enforcement excludes people other than they have sufficient evidence that basically tells them they're not responsible. Okay, this could be phone records. This could be credit card records. This could be something that they hand right over to law enforcement and they are cleared, right? I mean, they still have to vet the information to be true and accurate and make sure that if you're at a store, that it's really you at the store, not your mom, your dad, or your best friend. But at the end of the day, the reason why they're excluding, I'm going to have to change this picture. Me having my eyes bulging out above my head is driving me nuts. I gotta be honest with you. It's very distracting, folks. Very, very, very distracting. So we'll use the update one. There we go. There we go. Much better. Much better. I can't do it no more. I love the thumbnail, but right above my face is driving me nuts. So anyways, but I did want to go through just a couple things right off the rip, okay? And this is about the 911 call, okay? Everybody under the sun have been, even myself, have been. Oh, is Jimmy in here? Hi, Dolly. But anyways, so sorry, I just couldn't handle the eyes. You know, it's just distracting. Happy birthday, Mysterious Crimes birthday today. Well, happy birthday. Happy birthday from the Bullhorn Betty clan to your heart. But it's this call that they were talking about, and we're going to go dive into this just a little bit, just for a few minutes, and I think hopefully this will bring some clarity to everybody as to you know, what's related to this. Some people know this, some people don't. So there was a 911 call log the next day. So these folks went out on November 12th, and they partied into November 13th. So everything that really happened on November 13th, in the early hours of November 13th. So they came home between 1:45. I'd say right about 1:45 is what is established by law enforcement. And then between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., 4 of them ended up losing their life. We're going to fast forward to the next day, almost noon. And there was a 911 call logged at 11:58, just literally minutes before noon, requesting an assistance for an unconscious person. When they did the first press conference, many people were just flabbergasted. Like, if you walk into that, there's no unconscious person. You know, we all knew when we heard 4 people were most likely stabbed to death, we knew that this would be a very gruesome scene. So for somebody to be calling in as an unconscious person, we were all scratching our heads saying, how is this possible? Seriously, how is this possible? They would have been calling in for something a lot more than this unconscious person. Well, I think this right here kind of explains it a little better as to why the unconscious person was called in. It's because now we're also hearing that it was an occupant in the residence that called for the unconscious person. So I don't know. You have to remember there's 6 bedrooms here. Even though there were 6 occupants in this home at the time this crime happened, Ethan didn't live there. So there was still one room that appears to not have had a person in it. Okay, let's talk about that again. Understand what I'm saying. This appeared to be a women's only house. So everybody that rented there were girls. Ethan was staying the night at his girlfriend's house. So there should have been 6 girls. And then you add Ethan, there should have been a total of 7 people in that home. When we found out from law enforcement, 4 people were killed and there were 2 people sleeping in that home. So the other 2 people were identified from law enforcement as the roommate. But again, Ethan, making the 6th person in that house, did not live there. So there's still another room that's not accounted for. And still a resident and an occupant of the home. So that could explain why an occupant of that home called it in, but it wasn't the 2 victims that were also in the house, because there was a third girl, to the best of my knowledge, that was not in that home. So here it is. So a person saying a friend had gone into the home, seen the blood, walked out and fainted. A passerby called 911 for an unconscious person. We have identified that an occupant from the home actually made that call. Could it have been that missing roommate that was the passerby that saw a fainted woman or a fainted friend in their driveway. I don't know. This is just that is all speculative in nature. It's also possible that that sixth room wasn't rented as well. There is that possibility, but again, speculative in nature. But this would explain why the unconscious person was actually called in as opposed to the bloodbath that we know was inside that home. This would make very much sense of why that occupant. So a lot with that phone call. Apparently, the killer apparently bypassed the bedroom. And this is another speculative. This is interesting, but this is factual based upon what we're gathering from law enforcement. And it says the killer apparently bypassed the bedrooms of the two young women who lived in the 6-bedroom, 3-bathroom house who were not attacked. Their story was they heard partying, they heard noise, but they just, as usual, said there's partying going on, and they locked their doors. Further, Furr said the two roommates who were not harmed in the attack are not suspects and have been cooperating with the investigation. So many people out there are questioning these no-name roommates and speculating that they may have actually have done this. This would explain the reasons for that. You know, they heard partying, they heard noises. They thought maybe those screams were, you know, girls gone wild downstairs. You know, we have to remember this is a college environment. And if any of us remember what college was like, this to me makes absolute sense. This makes absolute sense. Now, is this what happened? This is somebody's theory. You know, this is the information right here is the, all this right here is what we have found out to be true from law enforcement. Okay. And we're speculating as to why. Many of me, like me, I jumped to the first conclusion: who was in the house, right? You know, they must have heard something. They must have known something. How could they come out uninjured? I also was just dumbfounded about the 911 call, because we all know how knife scenes are, and then we find out there's 4 victims, and how gruesome that. How could they just be calling in for an unconscious person? There had to have been a lot more stuff, a lot more alarming stuff. Well, that explains that. We hear that there's no forced entry into the home, which makes all this appear that somebody knew these people. But did they? We're noticing that there are screens missing from the windows, and we know law enforcement was dusting the sliding glass door for print. We also heard, which I am really having a hard time with, is Kaylee's sister came out and said that she was trying to reach a jack. Collectively, let me get over here and see if I can repeat, state this. Hold on just a second. And I want to tell you and explain to you why all this stuff is important. It's not important in the sense of, information, but it just clears up some misconceptions, I think, is really what I'm pushing here, because there are a lot of misconceptions out there. For example, we heard the 911 call for an unconscious person. Many people question why anybody would call the cops for an unconscious person when they were stabbed, and there has to be so much blood at that scene. The second shot was why the other roommates didn't know what was going on. And the last 2 photos were because LE said that they didn't see any forced entry or a break-in. With a couple of screens missing, that does make that statement plausible, that there's no forced entry, because we don't know if those windows were locked. We don't know if the back door was locked. We definitely know the front door wasn't locked. So it would have been people could have walked in and let themselves in. But what's really kind of making this, Mandy, so this is for the Idaho 4. This is for the 4 that were murdered at the university, at the off-campus dorm-style living apartment. And we're just kind of going over some misconceptions with the case, hoping to bring a little bit of clarity to it. Again, some of the statements that I'm posting, especially the one related to the friend walking in and fainting outside, while that makes sense, that is coming, that is not a firsthand information. It appears to be hearsay type of information. But the reason why I'm showing it is because it would explain that unconscious person if it is, true. We're going to probably be finding out more information from law enforcement as the weeks and as their investigation proceed and things of that nature. But it's very unfortunate. But what is making this sound almost planned? And I would have to say it's the knife. I had heard that law enforcement was going around from shop to shop to see if anybody had purchased a fixed blade knife. But I think I heard there was an interview from one of the store owners. Now, I don't know if he should have relayed the information. He should have said this, but again, we want to know anything and everything that we can. And so it is something that perks my attention, but I do believe that this information goes to the integrity of the case, and I would have rather not had it in public eye. And it's the K-bar knife. Them searching for a very specific knife. And the reason why I say I'd rather that not have been in the public eye is because of two reasons. Now, it can be a double-edged sword. Like, if you didn't bring it in the public eye, then the public wouldn't know about it. And therefore, if they knew somebody that had it, they wouldn't be calling those tips in. Now that it has been exposed and that they are looking for this knife, more public can call in with people that they saw with a knife or had recently purchased a knife or anything of that nature. But it's a piece of information I just didn't want to get out there. And here's the reason. Because that could have been, there are some crackpots out there that will go into a police station. I'm not saying it happens often, but there is times where it does happen, where people confess to a crime. They're delusional. They have mental illness. They dreamt about it. They saw it on the news and they thought they did it. Just weird vibes. Now they have information related to the tool that was used to take out those acts, as opposed to them saying, I grabbed a steak out of the butcher block, a steak knife out of the butcher block that was on the kitchen table. So there are certain things of this case. And I said this from the very beginning. I thought law enforcement let way too much out of the bag way too soon. And it causes social media and the media and the people watching it to speculate, and then they start digging in, and then they start going into the rabbit holes, and then next thing Aunt Mary that lives in Wyoming that has never stepped out of her house is the one that went over here and did this to these people. Meanwhile, the YouTuber over in Maine was there helping them clean it up. You see where I'm going with this? Like, there is some things that I have to be honest with you. I have to agree was just a little too much and was too much. I mean, that's the way it goes on YouTube, right? So it's like, I just think too much was out of the bag when it came to that knife. But again, now that the knife is kind of out of the bag, people that seen somebody with it can turn it in. And like I said, you're looking at somebody that most likely has marks on their face. If this was planned, you're talking about somebody that took a lot of care in making sure that they dotted their I's and crossed their T's. Therefore, they would have had some type of clothing on, some type of gloving on, some type of mask on to obscure the identity. You're talking about something like this. So people will recognize that type of knife. It's an assault type of knife. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Did I still have it up from yesterday? So something to the effect of this. This is not the actual official K-bar knife, but this is something similar to something like this. And that right there is pretty stinking scary. They weren't coming in there to make a point. They were coming, if this is all ends up being true, especially about this knife, the person came in there to do some major damage. And we need to understand why. You know, the public needs to understand why. Right now, there is a killer on the loose, but is there? Is there? And the reason why I say is there is because, you know, law enforcement is telling us they don't have anybody in custody, but how do we know that to be true? Because, for example, Michael Monkey Vaughn, they had Stacy locked up in jail since April, and none of us even knew he was a person of interest in this boy's disappearance. So could somebody have been arrested in the last few days that is sitting in their jail, that is being held on that low-hanging fruit that I always talk about, where they dig up their past to find out if there's anything within the statutes of limitation that have not expired, to throw them in jail until their investigation is concluded? It is a legit way to get somebody that's pretty dangerous off the street and behind bars. So, you know, there is that possibility. They may already have the person off the street, and we may not be none the wiser. I have to think, if this is a targeted attack, if this was premeditated, that somebody in that house knew this person. It has been alleged that somebody in this knew the layout of this home. They knew which rooms to bypass, folks. You know, there was 2 people that lived, and 4 people that lost their lives. And from my calculation, 1 person that wasn't even home altogether. Nothing was taken. This was not a robbery gone bad. We didn't hear whether or not there was any kind of paraphernalia or drugs on the scene. I like to stay away from that because, you know, it was heartbreaking to hear Ethan's mom come out, and, you know, she's like, you know, there's misinformation out there. You know, my kid wasn't on drugs. It's not that, you know, this is a dorm style living. Zaina and Ethan could have been, you know, the most clean, you know, purest snow individuals that were the kindest people in the world, and live with a person that has to pop pills to stay up at night, has to do uppers during the day and downers when they need to go to sleep, and calling their dope man. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless all these people knew each other for years and years, you don't know who you're living with in this dorm style apartment, even off campus. Because I know this, because as many of you know, I have a younger sister that I actually had to take to her college with a mountain. Like, I had a mid-sized truck. If you want to know what it was a Chevy Colorado. Okay, it wasn't even a Silverado. It wasn't the full-size truck. It was the mini of the full-size truck. And my little sister, had I known she was only going there for 6 weeks, I would have never allowed that much stuff to be loaded into that truck. There was stuff over, like, we had this whole back of this bed packed to the gills, so much so it was over the roof, strapped in, taking it to my sister's college. And when we unloaded it, now mind you, this was the hottest day of the year in summer, and we had to walk a mile to her dorm from where we parked, and we had to lug all that stuff in. And when I got home, I'm thinking, well, Mom, the good news is we don't have to go and pack her up until you know, like, I'm thinking she's there. Like, I'm thinking that's her dorm. I didn't know how this stuff works. Well, it's not. My mom told me, oh, we got to go back in 6 weeks and pick her up. I'm like, I'll loan you the truck. I'm sick that day. I'm calling in sick. I'm telling you, I'm sick. So I felt bad for my mom, because I did not go back and help. No, siree. No, here's the vehicle. Go do what you need to do. Move whatever you need to move. Please don't break your back. And if you need anything, give me a call. I'll be back here in Bradenton. I'll help you by phone. So we're hearing this is a press conference at 3 p.m. Can one of my mods go and see where that press conference is going to be at? And we'll plug it up here and see what they have to say while we're here. Definitely Ted Bundy vibes, you know. But let's talk about what would make somebody want to do this. Is it a rivalry thing? Is it a heartbreak thing? Is it you pissed in my Cheerios thing? Is it that you tanked one of my class things? Is it you got me kicked out of school thing? What kind of thing is this? Is this you weren't nice to me thing? Is this a thing where you turned me down and I got angry thing? We need, there was no essay involved, nothing missing. It appeared that this person went in there. This is what I thought based on the facts that came out that first day. It sounded like there was, everybody was a little intoxicated. I won't say drunk, they were intoxicated. You could visibly see, especially Maddie and Kaylee, that they were visibly, intoxicated. That doesn't mean they were falling over drunk. Okay. I mean, they were intoxicated. And we know that Ethan and Zaina went to the Sigma Chi party, which it's a frat party. We all know how frat parties go. So we have to, problem solve and critical think that they had to have been under the influence as well. So we've got these two sets of individuals, one at a frat party. We don't know what happened at the frat party. Could a rivalry frat, could there have been something? We don't know. Same with the girls. Could they have been there? Could they have shot, could somebody have been hitting on them and they shot them down and they followed them home? All this is on the table. Could they have known the person? Could this have been a jilted lover from one of the people's past? Absolutely. There's nothing that has excluded any of those theories thus far. What we do have excluded, though, thus far from law enforcement is that the two roommates that were there do not appear to be suspects or persons of interest. The boy that was at the food truck with them doesn't appear to be the suspect or person of interest. The driver of their vehicle, that private driver that drove the girls home, don't appear to be a person of interest or the suspect. So those people that were in and around at least Maddie and Kaylee don't appear to have anything to do with this case. Those are the facts. So what would make a person target? A person like this, or persons. Because again, we don't know who was in the living room. This is what I think happened. And this is contradictory. This is contradictory to something. So I looked at a statement made by Kaylee's sister. I'm going to get back to that, where they said that she reached out, that her and Maddie reached out to a Jack. We all heard about that, to a Jack between, I forgot what time it was, but it was wee hours of the morning, like 2:30 to 2, like I want to say like around 2:30 to 2:52. We're hearing from law enforcement that the people were killed. It appears to be between 3 and 4 a.m. is the timeline that we are getting for all of this. But it doesn't make sense with Kaylee because she's like, oh, the girls tried to frantically call. She was assuming that unless there's some voicemail messages on their phone. So was this person there because of a beef with Jack and telling those girls, you better get Jack on the phone, you better get Jack here? Could that be the frantic calls that they were making, or was it not frantic calls at all? We hear that Jack is the ex of one of the girls, or she has dated a Jack. Could this have been that same Jack? Could she have been intoxicated? Could she have been, reaching out just to say, hey, baby, right? We don't know. I think the two girls were the target, and Ethan and his girlfriends heard it, and then the killer had to get rid of the witnesses. Love from Canada, Betty. Oh, thank you, Canada. Yeah, that could be possible. I do personally believe that one of the girls were the target as opposed to Zena and Ethan. I do believe that. And we're going to go over why I believe that. But yes, I do believe it was the girls that were targeted, or, I believe one of the girls were targeted. They're best friends. It may have been both of them being targeted because they were so lock and step with each other. It's possible, but we will go over why I feel that is. But yes, I agree with you, Mel, that it does look like it's the girls that were targeted as opposed to the guys, or not the guys, Ethan and Zaina, the boyfriend and girlfriend. But we don't know why she was calling Jack. But she was calling Jack. She called him like 6 times. Maddie called him 2 times. And then shortly after that, about 8 minutes later, it was alleged that between 8 minutes to an hour later, these girls and Ethan and Zaina were dead. So was that, and then, there are some speculation out there. I don't know how true. And again, no disrespect to Ethan's family whatsoever. Again, I really don't think that Ethan and Zaina, I think their situation was at the wrong place at the wrong time, type of situation, like Mel had said. But again, when I start hearing people intoxicated, their inhibitions have been lowered and they're calling somebody over and over again, it does, for those people like me that have a past, that is kind of indicative of you calling the dealer, right? But D could be about the same thing, right? You blowing up a phone for some D, right? Not making light of it, but that it could very well have been that. It really could. She may have been calling. Her and Jack may have been in a fight. She call. He's not picking up the phone. She uses Maddie's phone to use a different number to see if he'll at least pick up that number, right? And so there are some explanations for it. But what is so concerning for me is they're giving the death timeline from 3 to 4. Kaylee's sister is saying that from 2:30, I don't know, it was like a window. Maybe it was from 2:40 to 2:52. There's only a small window of time where they're calling like every single minute to this guy based upon Kaylee's sister statement. Well, then the police statement comes out and they say that they believe the victims were sleeping. So if they were murdered shortly after they were calling Jack and blowing up Jack's phone frantically, it doesn't sound like people just go and frantically call somebody because they're in fear for their life and then go to bed. So that's got me a little, I don't know, just confused. Just because they say the timeline of the death is between 3 and 4 doesn't mean that the death took from 3 to 4, like it's in that timeline. So it is possible that they were calling Jack. He never answered, never came by. And they said, you know what? I'm ready to go to bed. And they go to bed. That would seem more in line with, incorporating what had happened and the police statement. And then somebody came in after they went to bed or was watching the house until they got comfortable and in their bed and the lights went out and decided to come in. But again, if the other 2 roommates were in that house and everything was quiet and then if they're sleeping, they probably don't even know it's quiet, right? They don't even know it's quiet. And then all they're hearing is a bunch of banging loud, people screaming and hollering and stuff like that. And they think it's a party downstairs. That is, to be honest with you, I can visualize that happening. And that would explain a lot of stuff. Let's see here. Shannon says, total Gainesville vibes. There is no way this was a person's first kill. Too quiet, proficient, and deadly. I also don't think it was premeditated. So you don't think well, I don't know, because was that a typo? You do think it was premeditated, or you really don't think it was premeditated because you say there's no way it was this person's first kill, and if it wasn't this first kill, then it would have to be premeditated because he's done it before and he was seeking out somebody. Too quiet, too proficient, and deadly. I also don't think it was premeditated. So I think you meant to say you do think it was premeditated because all the statements up to that sounds like premeditation with that vibe. But I don't know. I don't know. Just could be drunk calling. Exactly. Anybody that's been drunk before knows about this drunk calling stuff. I've done it. You've done it. We've all done it. If you've been intoxicated, you have drunk dialed somebody, right? And then you wake up the next day and say, why the hell did I call them? Oops. Okay, let's see what this says. Kaylee's ex parents said they were getting back together after years of dating and taking a break. So maybe Kaylee didn't want to. Right? Maybe he was supposed to come over to the house. Maybe she who knows? Who knows? Maybe she had a lonely night. Maybe she was intoxicated and called him up and he's thinking they're going to reconcile. And she's just like, no, not really. I'm just calling for some D. And got butthurt over it. Because I'm telling you, this person, this seems personal, guys. This seems really personal. And if her best friend, think about it. Why was the best friend, the best friend targeted? Well, what if she was the one giving her best friend the backbone she needed to help her get out of a relationship with this guy? We've seen that before where the ex and the best friend were together and they were both taken out because it was the best friend that supported her friend leaving and helped her friend get out of a situation and helped her friend move on with her life. And the ex is like, if it wasn't for that friend, you would still be with me. You know, we're speculating a lot on this case because we really don't know what really transpired. But the reason why I think the girls were targeted is because we don't know when Ethan and Zaina went to bed. What we can assume is they didn't lock their doors, their bedroom door. It, to me, sounded like the other two girls locked their door. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know. And to me, it sounds like it was Zaina and Ethan that were sleeping when they were attacked. Again, it could be just the opposite. This is just stuff that I am, speculating based on how my brain works, right? I'm getting all this information, the same information you guys are getting, but this is how my brain is kind of painting the picture for me as we're getting this information. And it's leading me to believe that Ethan and Zaina. Now, the reason I don't think Kaylee and Maddie were sleeping is because they were visibly intoxicated. They were the only ones that we really seen on video from that night, was just them two. We didn't see any video come out about Ethan or Zaina. It was just the two girls, Madison and Kaylee. But they got food. They got food and they went back to their house. They weren't eating the food there. They took it to go. And so they went back to their house. That means that they would have been most likely in the living room or in the kitchen eating their food. They're probably laughing, has some music on, good old time. Maybe what the girls heard, as the loud music and partying light. Maybe it was these girls coming back. They just got, some food in their bellies. They're feeling better. They're not ready for the party to let up yet. Next thing you know, within an hour, because again, it falls right in that where they start calling that boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend, potentially. We just know it from what Kaylee's sister that she was calling a Jack. There's a few Jacks from what I gather in these people's circle, but we don't know which one it was. Was this her ex-boyfriend? Was this her current boyfriend? We don't know. We just know that a lot of calls went there based upon a statement made from Kaylee's sister. The question is, could he have been the one that came there? What do we know about Jack and Kaylee's relationship? Was it violent in any respect? It may not be. We may be talking about the ex-boyfriend, and it may be a stranger that walked by and saw them through a window and decided to go in. But absent of removing any items, obviously a robbery or theft, and absence of SA, what would be the purpose of this person killing them? It was personal. That's how we figure out that this was a personal attack. The problem I didn't have, yesterday or the day before was the targeted attack of this. But with a knife like that, you're not getting that out of the butcher block. You know what I'm saying? This is not a spur of the moment. We got into a drunken fight and a rage with something like that. If that is truly the knife that was used for these students, this was most likely a premeditated attack on these girls for personal reasons. Because think about it. If you had a peeping Tom, what would that peeping Tom be wanting to do with you? It might have been some crazy crackpot that had a power issue, a power struggle. But if that was the case, he would have had these girls perform something because he would have felt like Almighty God. So you got to think about the psychology of this. But if we have Jack, if they recently broke up and he was thinking they were getting back together and they were not, and he was totally in love with her and nobody could have her, and he just was following her around and saw her talking to this guy at the corner club and got jealous, could that have inflamed him enough to go home, wrap himself up, grab this knife and lay in wait until the perfect opportunity to go into that home through a sliding glass door, through a window that didn't have a screen on it that was unlocked, and ambush these folks in this house? Yeah, we see it happen a lot. Domestic battery and domestic violence is definitely a killer of many men and women across this country. This could be definitely, without a doubt, a factor. It could have been a stranger danger. But I'm sorry, based on what we're hearing, this to me feels like whoever did this knew these people. But I have a funny feeling we are going to find out that the girls were targeted, one or both of them. Ethan and Zaina were most likely collateral damage. And either the killer wasn't aware of the other two people in the home at the time. The person, the suspect, either liked those other two people that were in the home at the time, or something spooked him and he had to leave. And he didn't have time to get to the other two. Those are the possibilities we're facing when it comes to the other two people. It sounds to me like the other two people in that home are very lucky to be alive. I can't imagine their emotional state. I can't imagine them walking down and seeing people that they lived with in that condition. We saw so much blood that it was literally seeping out of the home. This was by far the most gruesome thing that I think anybody in that area should have seen, and we don't even know how bad it is yet. We heard multiple stab wounds on each victim, and we are trying to figure out why. So with that being said, I've already talked. I've already eaten up my only hour that I was going to digest with, or go over this stuff. No, okay. So Shannon says she doesn't think it was premeditated. Very interesting, Shannon. Very interesting. So you think if it wasn't premeditated, do you think he just stumbled across their home? Or I guess, well, it doesn't matter. I'm opening up the chat. What I'm going to do, because of the topic that we are discussing, I'm not going to be bringing people up on panels, so to speak. But we will be having, you will be heard, but it's going to be through the link as opposed to the phone, because I still want to see your face before I allow you to speak. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can. Give me just a second, guys. I'm going to see if I can pin that link to the top. I'm on the other side of this, so I've just got to wait until it gets, I think it's done. Hold on here. Give me just a second. I got to repost it. Oh, it's still rolling. Hold on. I thought Bullhorn Betty had the gift of gab. Well, apparently the chat has the gift of gab. Maybe I need to hire some of you guys to take over. I'm just joking. All right. So there's the link. I just pinned the link to the top of the chat in YouTube. If you guys would like to come here, especially Shannon, I'm very interested. Like you're making me like sit here and scratch my head, because it seemed like you would have thought this was premeditated based upon the starting of your sentence. So I'm actually kind of interested. Like you got me kind of like thinking, okay, I'm interested in your perspective, because you think of these things and then you don't think it's premeditated. So it's very interesting. So if you want to come up, grab the link and come up. I won't show your face unless you want me to. I won't show your face on here. It will pop up just for a second, but I'll pop you off and they'll just see my face, but they can hear you. But I'm interested in your perspective, because I'm probably going to miss if you elaborate on there, because there's just so many people in this chat right now that I'm pretty sure my mods are probably going crazy. But it sounds like everybody's hopefully being nice and courteous in the chat room, because we're all just here just trying to learn about this case. It's just really sad, in my opinion. And for those that are just getting here, please don't forget to like this video. Let me see how many likes we have. I only have 550 likes, and we've been holding strong with almost 1,200 people in this room. So if you have not gone out and liked this video, then please do so. Give me just a second, Laura, and I will bring you up in just a second. Thank you, Betty, for sharing this case. I think one of the victims was familiar with the killer. Obviously, the killer was extremely angry. Yes, and we're going to talk about how this became. 1 second. Sorry, hold on 1 second. There we go. Okay, Laura, thank you for coming on here, and I'm going to go over how this is really personal for us as well in just a second.
Okay.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, Betty. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well. I met you at Summer's Vigil.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of faces, so please forgive me.
Oh, that's okay. But I thought you were a good person, Betty. I just can't believe you're doing this off of the backs of these.
Go fuck yourself. I hope she heard that. Hey, Shannon. Oh, let me get you off here. Sorry about that. There you go. Hey.
Hi.
So you're the Shannon that wrote that comment, right? The premeditated?
Yes.
Okay, you don't believe it's explain. Thank you. You're not on screen. You don't have to worry about turning your camera off. You're not on screen. It's just my face. But
I was just looking to stop the stream.
And that lady before, she wasn't even on screen, so we didn't even give her the time of day. But I'm curious about, because you're saying that this kind of feels Gainesville-ish, but you don't believe it's premeditated. Explain. I'm just curious. Explain.
I think it was more of a crime of opportunity, where you have somebody. Sorry, I have COVID right now, so my voice is a little off.
Bless you.
So I think it's more like the Gainesville thing, where it's just the urge to kill, and when the right circumstance pops up, he probably saw the girls going home, may have saw them out earlier in the night, and followed them home. So it wasn't necessarily premeditated. It was just something he got drawn to them for some reason, therefore making it more of a crime of opportunity and a rage killing versus a premeditated crime.
Yeah. That would make, but even I guess, yeah, the need to kill, but even the hunt for the next victim would almost be premeditated, wouldn't it?
No, because he doesn't know when he's going to have the urge to kill next.
And he just happened to be, he was driving home, and boom, 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 all these elements fell into place. And
exactly.
So you think this is potentially more of a thrill kill?
Yes.
So to speak? Interesting. To be honest with you, I never even thought of that perspective, because it felt so personal in nature. But there's so many whack jobs out there in the United States today. I can see where that's a possibility.
Yeah, it just seems to, like, spur of the moment. Like, everything just kind of came together properly. I do think the girls were targeted. For some reason, they set this person off one way or another. But it just happened to be something that fell into place. Someone who's killed before, along the lines of a serial killer, but not necessarily into the serial killer realm of things, more of like the thrill kill and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little, and people are talking about this pinned animal that was like a mile from the campus or something like that months prior to that, was a little odd. And we always, we know that especially with the serial type of killing and stuff like that, we know that it is possible for them to kill animals and actually statistically do harm animals before they kill a human. And so, do you think that that has any connection or no?
Are you talking about the incident where they reported the guy on campus the month before?
No, this is from a neighbor that had their dog skinned.
Oh, okay. I would probably say it's the same person.
Now, talk about what you had just brought up. You brought up an
I think
incident that happened on campus a month prior. Explain that incident.
In September, there was an incident and a report of a man in his, I think they said in his 20s, roaming the area with a knife. There was a bulletin put out.
Wow.
Back in September. So it kind of seems, that's where I'm getting the Gainesville vibes from. Somebody who lives like in the woods or something like that, who's in the area.
Do we have that bulletin?
I've heard it. I think it might have been in the original press conference, but I'm not 100%.
I mean, I'm curious to see what it actually said.
Because somebody asked about it, if it was related to the bulletin that went out of the reports of a strange man seen with a knife.
Yeah.
And that was in September.
Gotcha. All right. Well, definitely interesting. It's definitely something that would go, but I'm curious what kind of knife he was holding. I mean, if it was one of these K-bar knives, I'm going to be like, okay.
It could have been. They said
you know,
it was
the
a
hair on
large
the back of my
knife.
neck's probably going to be standing up.
It said to be a large knife.
Yeah. I knew it was going to be large because even the medical examiner said it was a blade that was 5 to 6 inches, and I was thinking of a potential steak knife, you know, because I'm thinking of crime of opportunity too, just in a different concept and different perspective. And I'm thinking, you know, they didn't go there with a knife; they you know, grabbed the knife from their property. But if they had this K-bar, they brought the knife with them. That's
right, and that's why, you know, you have the skinning of the dog, you have the reports from. That's where I'm getting the Gainesville feel, because the guy in Gainesville lived right in the woods behind the campus in like a mile stretch or something like that. So it's kind of eerily similar.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Shannon, thanks for the perspective. I'm going to get you a couple other people in the back room, and I appreciate it. Come back up if I have questions and you got the answer. Please come back up.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for having me on, Betty.
So I'm going to go ahead, Lolly, and bring you up. Sorry, here. I have to do
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Lolly?
Good. If the crime scene was as gruesome as what they say, I feel like, to me, that gives me the thought of it's like more like a crime of passion. Like someone went there. I don't know if it would be premeditated, but maybe somebody went there and then something happened. They just lost control. To me, it sounds like a loss of control, because if someone premeditated it, I really feel like they're going to go in, they're going to stab, they're going to kill, do as much damage as quickly as they can. This person seems to have gone overboard.
I agree with that. And I think that it's possible that somebody, you know, and even the Zena and Ethan, which I don't believe was the target of this for some reason. I just don't get that vibe, but that's, you know, I have it there. I'm not there. I'm just going off what I'm getting off of everybody else's work here. And it just seems like the girls may have been the one that were targeted. And I'm thinking something on the lines of this was happening and somebody walked out of their room.
Right.
They, you know, or these people knew who that person was and they had to get rid of him, as opposed to the two girls that were locked away.
That's what I feel like, because I don't think somebody would have went searching for more, you know, if there was a specific target. But I think, you know, as bad as what the crime scene was, to me, it just says crime of passion. And it seems like they got out of control.
Yeah, and then it kind of dovetails in because we haven't really heard about this Jack character from law enforcement. We haven't heard that this
Right.
Jack character has been cleared by law enforcement, but we hear all these other people that we don't even know, but we've seen law enforcement has came out and said, no, we don't think that they're a person of interest or a suspect. So,
Yeah.
you could, yeah, and that's a perspective that I feel because we deal with this stuff all the time that it almost feels in a way that we know it's personal, but it almost
Right.
feels in a way that it is, a crime of passion that somebody didn't get
Yes.
what they wanted. And then we're hearing that this Jack character, a person that she was calling around that time, believed
Right.
that they were going to be getting back together after this breakup.
Yeah. And that's what kind of leads me to the fact that the overkill, I guess, is a good word to use.
Mhm.
Because if it was someone that was doing this, they've thought about it or whatever, they're going to be as quick as possible. They're going to get
Yeah,
in, get out.
yeah,
This, I
I
think,
agree.
was completely done on emotions, and it was, overly done. And that
And
just kind of tells me, go ahead.
and what kind of because Shannon was just on here. She was giving her perspective and a great perspective too,
Right.
because I didn't think
It was
like that.
great.
And yeah, it was. But there is one thing that would kind of dispute her thing, and I just thought of it as you were saying, and it was the fact that law enforcement has said that they believe that the person knew the layout of the home.
Right. Yeah.
And it appeared that they knew the layout of the home, and that may be the thrill kill that may be what sinks that thrill kill theory, is
Right.
that layout. But I can't remember if law enforcement said that or if we heard that through the grapevine, so I got to be careful with that. Shannon's theory still
Right. Yeah.
but if we find out that law enforcement did conclude that this person knew the layout of the home, then that theory would probably go by the wayside.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think if it was more of a thrill kill, they would have slowed things down, took their time, a little bit of time with it, as far as not just so gruesome with it. I think they would have enjoyed that one stab at a time kind of thing.
Taking
Where,
their time, and with 6
yeah,
people in the house, that's one thing.
yeah, they would have really soaked that in. But if it's somebody that just lost control,
Mhm.
Over something personal there, they're just going to go willy-nilly and go all out.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
that's,
they have to, because the people
yeah,
that see them know who they are.
right. So that's just my thought on
Yeah.
it. Everything that I've heard, that's kind of where I feel.
Well,
But
I
we'll
thank you for your
see.
perspective and your
Yeah,
theory. Yep, yep. But I think we're all kind of getting away from, this being a drug deal gone bad. I think that this
yeah.
the hallmarks of a drug deal gone bad, and whoever's peddling that may want to
I
reconsider
don't
their theory.
Right. I don't think so, because I really feel if it was drug deal gone bad, like I said, that person would have went in there, did what they had to do, and they would have gone.
Yeah.
And whoever it was lingered long enough to make, quite a statement.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Thank you, Lolly. I appreciate your perspective.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Merja, I'm going to bring you up. Just give me a second, because I gotta do this shift 1 to make sure you guys don't come up on panel. There we go. That worked out better. Hi, Merja.
Hi. How are you?
Good. I'm
You
interested
good?
in your perspective.
Okay. My perspective is this. I have 4 theories for this one. Okay. It might be someone random. It might be someone who just waiting for them, like a stalker.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone, as you said, like rejects it. How do you say it?
Yeah,
Rejection.
rejected. So,
Yeah,
crime of
yeah,
passion.
yeah. That, or it could be someone who I don't know how to say it. I don't want to say it. It could be just an effing, crazy person.
Right. Crime
That's
of
how I see it.
opportunity.
Like,
Crime of opportunity. We'll say
yeah,
crime.
exactly. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
But exactly, could be like that.
Yeah.
That's
what-
how I see it.
based upon the information, because you're not from around here, so you're reading a lot of this stuff from these cases online or watching YouTube
Yeah.
information. Who do you think was the target of this crime? Do you think it was? I mean, I guess if it's random or a crime of opportunity, I guess it was just they just happened to be there. But if we look at a stalker and a crime of passion, that's more personal. That's more targeted, so to speak. Do you think it was the boyfriend girlfriend that was targeted, or the two best friends?
Because what I've found out is that the girls was on the second floor,
Mhm.
and the boyfriend girlfriend was on the third floor, and these people who was not involved with it was on the basement floor. So, and they had a sliding door on the second floor. So my idea is okay. My hypothesis is like, okay, they might targeted one of the girls.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but it just they were very, very beautiful girls, and
Yeah.
it just seems like that they were going out that night. It could have been a random, it could have been a stranger they weren't familiar with that did this, and again, if they were on the second floor, maybe the person didn't even know there was two people on the bottom floor and just heard somebody around or making movement upstairs, you know what I'm saying? So and drove him up to the third level. So we don't really know, and so that could still be random. It could still be a crime of opportunity. It could still be the thrill kill, mentality.
And what I'm thinking about is like maybe the boyfriend and girlfriend from upstairs heard something, ran downstairs, and that's what happened.
That would seem probable. That would definitely seem probable.
Yeah.
But something, yeah. So there was still. I mean, this doesn't really clarify, but I still in my heart right now, I just feel like this was ultra personal. That the suspect and one of the victims knew each other. So I mean, that's just me.
Yeah.
I love the different perspectives. I love the fact that you brought up several options. Four of them, and then of course we had Shannon that brought up the thrill kill. So I mean, we're getting some possibilities out there.
Yeah. Anyway, so I love you, Betty.
Absolutely. Take care, Marja. Love you and God bless.
Okay. Mwah, mwah. Love you.
Mwah.
Bye.
All right, Laura, I'm going to bring you up next. Give me a second so I can get my ones ready here.
Okay. I'm in here. Okay, I'm on.
Yeah,
hello. I love y'all. I love y'all. This is the second time I've ever called into anything. Dolly, you, the whole crew. I love y'all.
Aw,
You're
thank
real,
you.
and F everybody else that thinks you ain't, because I ain't see them do shit. So anyway, on this case, it's crazy. But I'm thinking, okay, there's two things. You've got these cats and dogs being skinned and killed around the area. Maybe it's one of the weirdo college white kids, doing this stuff, and they've rejected them. Because if you watch them when they're at the food truck, the one girl's kind of like, she's kind of not so steady on her feet. And then,
well, that's why I knew that they were under, they were a little intoxicated.
Yeah, and it's 2-3 in the morning, right? They're getting their food, and maybe they rejected somebody at the club. You know how we do when we think can't say nothing.
Right.
And he followed him on home, or maybe he had been in the house before. Maybe they even knew him lightweight.
Maybe he stayed in the same design house, because this was like, from what I hear, like apartments type thing. And so this was just one unit of multiple units, potentially. And they may have had the same type of floor plan, except one floor plan goes right and one floor plan goes left.
Yep. That's crazy. I don't think it was random.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe he got freaked out. Maybe this was the first time he went from animals to humans, you know?
Yeah.
But it's sad. It's
We
sad.
can't equate if he came there with the K-bar knife. He was looking
Premeditated.
for problems, whether
Yep.
he knew these victims or not.
Right. 100%.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Laura, thank you for your perspective. I appreciate it. And we're going to be talking here. So if you hear anything and you want to come back up, come on back up. And that says for everybody on the panel. If you guys, we're just having a conversation. We'll get on to something else. You guys want to come back up, come back up.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, Laura, thank you. All right, Jennifer, I'm going to be bringing you up next. Give me just a second. There we go. How are you doing, Jennifer?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I was wondering if maybe I keep getting a feedback or something from.
Hold on, let me turn you up because you're really, it's hard to hear you. Sorry.
I was wondering because over the years I'm originally from North Carolina, but I'm in Idaho right now, and I've seen a lot of like cheerleaders and that. I wonder if the one that was competitive and the go-getter, if maybe she made a female mad, and this could have been a female.
Are you asking, because it's really bad reception, are you asking could it be a possibility of it being a female?
Yes. And it would also be like skinning the dog, because she would think, maybe that's her dog, so she would skin it or something, trying to get to her.
Yeah, I definitely believe this day and age, we can't, once upon a time, you could pretty much exclude women. This day and age, no, you can't exclude women. However, the whole knife thing seems, especially a K-bar knife, seems like a dude. But I wouldn't put it past a woman to do this. If they, who knows? It could be a person that's jealous of these girls. I mean, again, they're beautiful. They're probably popular. They probably have all the, the requests to go to this party, that party. They look like those type of girls that are nothing disrespectful, but they look like a popular, fun group of girls that were very beautiful, and people would aspire to have their life and be them. So could it be another woman? Absolutely.
I had to tell you something out of left field there, so I didn't know.
Yeah, no, I absolutely believe that, a knife can do as much damage with a man as a woman.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Yeah. God bless you, Jennifer.
God bless you.
All right, Greg, I'm going to bring you up. You don't have to show me your face again because I've already seen you back there. Let me know what you're thinking about all this, Greg.
Hey, I get a little nervous, so excuse me if I stutter.
That's okay.
We actually met a while back, and maybe
Sorry, I don't know what that was. Oh, it's probably just, I don't know if it was a troll or not, but maybe he had some internet problems. I don't know. Some people are saying they don't believe it's a thrill kill. Let's see what Heavens 57 says. No trolls, please. No shaming BHB. Yeah, we're having a conversation about kids, and that old bag that called in here. Like, dude, get a life. Get a life. Seriously, get a life. But she'll never be back because she's fully banned from ever coming on the Bullhorn Betty channel, at least through StreamYard. Now, if I get another program, she might be able to sneak back in, unless she sets up another account, which she's more than welcome to do. But now that I know her face and have a picture of her face along with all these people here, they will not be coming back on my show. This is, in my opinion, suspect is no longer in Mascow. Interesting. But you know what also happened? They sent all the kids home from the university. So, if it was a university kid, Lex, you're right. I believe personally, if it was somebody that was not associated, you're going to have to show me your face a little bit better, Jeannie. Thank you. Perfect. I'll bring you up in just a second. If you have, this the kids, if it's not the kids, then somebody would probably want to act like nothing happened, unless they're battered on their face, their hands, and their body, which I suspect they do have some type of injuries. I'm going to go ahead and bring you up. Give me just a second. All right. Hi,
Okay.
Jeannie.
Hi. I'm not sure if you know whether or not did the ladies that were calling the boyfriend, were they one of the ones that died?
Yes.
Okay, so I know somebody that was murdered. That could have been them calling the boyfriend to try and get a hold of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was significant amounts of calls. I want to say it was 6 to 8 calls, according to Kaylee's sister, that went out. I think it was 8. I think 6 calls were made by Kaylee and 2 calls were made by Maddie.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the boyfriend. He wasn't answering, right?
No, wasn't answering. Mm-mm.
He probably wasn't awake or wasn't available.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking as well.
He's going to be sad.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's definitely somebody that they tried to make contact with, and shortly after that last contact, well, they didn't even have contact, but after that last call, shortly thereafter, they met their demise. So I think that, I think people were like, they frantically called. Well, it doesn't really make sense, because law enforcement, I don't think they were frantically calling. Again, the girls were a little loosey-goosey. You never know what was going on, what they were, maybe she wanted them to come over, you know what I'm saying? So you really don't, but what I found odd, and the reason why I dispute that they were frantically calling him like that, is because law enforcement said they believe that they were all asleep at the time of the attack. There was a report that came out. We're going to go over that. Actually, let me just read this. After I get through with you and Cindy, I'll turn this off for just a second, and we'll go over the update from the Mascow Police Department. What do you think happened?
Are you talking to Cindy?
No, I'm talking to you.
Oh, I have no idea. I just wanted to say that I don't think it's the boyfriend.
Okay. Yeah. I hope it's not. We see so many of this domestic stuff that, we pray to God that it's not. We pray to God it's nobody that they knew, because how horrible would that be?
Super sad. Okay, I'll go down. Thank you.
All right, Jeannie, thank you for your perspective.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, Cynthia, give me just a second. Let me get my stuff. There we go. Hi, Cindy.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. So what do you think about all of this?
Well, it's crazy, I'm telling you. I honestly think that it would have to be somebody strong to be able to stab that many people that many times. Somebody that knows the layout of the house. And I think somebody had it premeditated. Maybe they were going around checking doors, wanting to see who I can get to right now.
Yeah, a predator in the general area checking. We've heard of those stories before as well. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, and it's party night. People are partying, leaving the doors unlocked. Yeah. So it may have been just that opportunity that he took when the door was open.
And that would go right in line with Shannon's theory of what she feels happened, just the thrill kill type of person.
Yeah, it's crazy. These poor college kids can't do anything.
But we know colleges have been dangerous for years. They are, they attract a lot of weird people. When my sister went to school, we were scared. There were school shootings going on, college shootings. We were terrified for my little sister at times. And it's just a crazy world out there.
Right.
But again, I think that there should be some type of, this is happening, whether it's the shootings or stuff like this happening around the country. So we need to find out what we can do to help stop. It doesn't seem like they had cameras on the outside of the building.
You would think they would, with all those, with the young kids running around and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, we don't want them in the house. Kids will be kids. They're going to do what they're going to do. We don't want their landlord spying on them and telling them, oh my God, I can't believe you had 20 people here.
Right.
You don't want that. But, for security for the kids, they really do. Because if something like this happened, if they had a camera right there.
Oh, yeah. And I can't believe that they don't have any kind of, footprints or anything, because the way everybody's talking,
Oh, I'm sure they
it's
do.
just covered, the whole place was just a mess. So
There's no way the person that did this did not leave any tracks of themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw blood seeping out of that house.
right.
There's just no way. There's just no way.
Yeah. All right, Betty. Well, you guys take care. I love you. You do such good work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. Love, I'm going to bring you on up. Give me just a second. Hi. Oops. There we go.
Hi.
Hey, love.
Hey, so just a perspective, I lived in a apartment similar to this one, multiple roommates, multiple level bedrooms, and I can totally understand and agree that the roommates did not hear anything.
Yeah. I'm
If
not saying
they
they didn't
did-
hear anything. They just didn't think, they thought it was a party. I mean, I'm sure they probably heard a thump here and a thump there, but anything unnormal from any other weekend.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. If they did hear anything, like exactly what you're saying, I've been in that situations when my roommate on the second level had a party. I was not privy to it. I wasn't interested in joining, and I heard screaming and music and just laid in my bed until noon the next day. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to follow this case and figure out what the heck is going on. Hearts and prayers go out to the families, the campus. I can't imagine how scary it would be. But I could definitely vouch for, sorry.
No, I was just saying, I'm sure everybody's scared on that campus.
Oh, definitely. And I can vouch for the two girls, maybe they did hear something and just thought nothing of it. I've been in that situation in a similar housing structure, heard loud noises, screaming, and just didn't move. Stayed in my room, door locked.
Put the earplugs in, roll over,
Literally, exactly. All right, well, thanks, Bullhorn Betty, and have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye.
So at least that clarifies, that is, I'm familiar. I didn't live on on-campus housing, but I know my sister has. My sister's lived on campus and off campus. And, I have to, I know how this stuff works a little bit, and not verbatim, but, like I said, I learned secondhand. So even though, unless you're on a TV, you're probably not going to be able to read this at all. So let me see if I can get it a little bit bigger for you. So I'm going to read it out to you. This came out 15 hours ago. This is on the City of Mascow Police Department for an update. They updated it at 8:28 last night. I believe, yeah, that's about 15 hours. The cell phone used to call 911 belonged to one of the surviving roommates. Due to the ongoing investigation, the identity of the caller has not been released. So it is based upon one of the surviving roommates. Again, I'm still curious about this whole, unconscious person call. We did have some clarity. Again, wasn't firsthand knowledge. It was hearsay that was posted in another chat saying, it was a friend that walked in, saw all the blood, turned around, walked out, and fainted. That does make sense. They're saying it's one of the surviving roommates here. I'm saying that there is one roommate that's not accounted for in a 6-bedroom house because, again, Ethan did not live there. He did not occupy one of those rooms. There were 6 rooms and only 5 women at home at the time. Is that right? So we have Kaylee. Yeah, 5 women. We have the 2 surviving. We have Kaylee, Madison, and Zaina. So there's 6 bedrooms, okay? So we have a 6th person. We have one person that's missing from that home, or that house was not rented out to that person. I want to know who that person is, because it sounds to me that if you have 2 bedrooms on each floor, so you have the bottom floor, the very first floor, all those victims, or all those people on that bottom floor survived. Then you go up to the 2nd level. It appears that the 2nd level was the one that had Kaylee. I could be wrong about this, but just based on the information, that Kaylee and Maddie lived on the 2nd floor, and there was a sliding glass door on that 2nd floor. And then on the 3rd floor, it appeared that Zaina and another unknown person resided in that residence. Zaina had her boyfriend in her room, but who was in that last room? We have not identified. We haven't identified that there is a missing person from this house. We have 6 people accounted for in 6 bedrooms. We're thinking that, but we have to remember. Oh, is it the opposite? So Shannon's telling me it's the opposite. So it sounds like the girls were on the 3rd floor, and Ethan and Zaina were on the 2nd floor. But either way, we're equating 6 bodies, 6 people, not actual bodies, but 6 people in that house to those 6 bedrooms. But when we have that correction that Ethan was only there visiting, where's that 6th roommate? Where's the 6th female? Where was she? We haven't even heard about her or even about that being alleged. There was only 5 girls that lived there. Now, we're 100% positive that 6th bedroom was not rented. But there's also another thing, and here's another example. My sister, she had an off-campus dorm, and one of her roommates never stayed there. She stayed with her boyfriend at their house, even though mommy and daddy were paying for the off-campus housing for her to stay in. She never stayed there. Her parents did not know she was staying with her boyfriend. So there's also that possibility. There's no other roommate. They are confirming that there is no other roommate. The 6th room, that roommate moved out in September or October. So that would explain it. So all the occupants that were in the house at that night. Okay, that's good to know. So 5 tenants. There were originally 6, but 1 moved out October. And then there was 5 remaining. Got it. Okay. No more chains is saying, for clarity, yes, it's a 3-story, 3 bath, 2 bedroom on each floor. Had 5 renters. Ethan was visiting the night at the house. It's 295 square feet. The rent was $2,095 a month. Wow. If anybody has not gotten into the business of off-campus housing, it's profitable. You got to think, 6 people in that house paying $2,095 rent. Was it for all 6? Did they split that, or were they all paying that? Because that's still a lot. That's still a lot. Either way, I believe my sister was paying $600 or $700 or $800 a month for her off-campus housing, and that was her portion every month. And so that's about right. It was about $2,400 with the 3 girls. They only had the 3-bedroom, 2-bath off-campus living. So. Late on any updates. Yeah, we'll go back over. We'll do a recap, Megan, for you here in just a second. But anyways, getting on with this. So that was at 8:28 about the cell phone call. They did an update on that. Mascow Police Department is providing the following information to update the public on the known facts surrounding the 4 murders that occurred November 13 in Mascow, Idaho. Updated information. At this time, detectives have investigated the private party driver that took Kaylee and Madison home November 13th and do not believe he's involved in the crime. Detectives believe on November 12th, the 2 surviving roommates had been out in the Mascow community separately, but returned home by 1 a.m. The 2 did not wake up until later on November 13th. We know college kids. We know they sleep in. I'm sure there are several of you that went to bed last night between 1 and 2 o'clock that are just pulling your butt out of bed at noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is the situation that happened here. Initially, the 911 call made at 11:58 a.m. November 13 requested aid for an unconscious person. The call was made from inside the residence on one of the roommates' cell phone. Mascow Police Department arrived shortly thereafter and found all 4 victims. The unconscious person call is still bothering me. If it's from inside the home, why would somebody be calling in an unconscious person as opposed to a dead person with a lot of, I don't understand that. The detectives in law enforcement, Mascow Police Department, you guys need to clarify that, because that's making my head spin. How did this happen? Where did this unconscious person, we've got a person on one of the groups saying that it was because a friend walked in and walked out and fainted. Could it have been, instead of them fainting in the driveway, they were there to visit their friends and walked down and fainted as they went to go visit the friends, and the friends frantically called 911? I don't know. Again, that's something that is just gnawing at me, and I really want that that clarified. Detectives confirmed the victims were located on the second and third floor of the residence. Detectives are aware of multiple phone calls from victims Madison and Kaylee to a male. This information is part of the ongoing investigation. Well, Kaylee's sister already informed us who that male was. Detectives are seeking all outside surveillance video taking from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. So there's a 3-hour window that they would like any video surveillance. If anybody was in the area that had, the car videos, anything, Ring doorbell cameras, anything, get those over to law enforcement. You can reach them at tipline at ci-moscow.id.us or by calling the tip line at 208-883-7180. The north boundary is West Taylor Avenue. The south boundary is West Palusa River Road. The east boundary is Highway 95 South to the 2700 block of Highway 95 South. And the west boundary is Arbor, I can't even pronounce that name, and Botanical Gardens. Arboretum? I don't know. Anyways, Arboretum, maybe? Arboretum? I don't know. I can't pronounce it. It's Arboretum. I can't pronounce it. There will be a news press conference for the public investigation Sunday, November 20th at 3 p.m. University of Idaho Alumni Lounge of the ICCU Arena, and it's at the 900 Stadium Drive in Mascow. It's telling us where we can put, I need to reach out to them for the media notes. Original information. So I don't want to go over the original information because the original information is outdated, and I don't want to confuse the audience on what is updated information and what was original information. So we are just going to say at the time the original information was released, there was over 500 tips that were that came in, being processed, investigated, and currently working on getting cleared. The police department has 4 detectives, 24 patrol officers, 5 support staff. That is an awful, maybe that's the utilizing the assistance from the state police, FBI, and the sheriff's office. So I'm assuming that this is how many officers they may have assigned to this. I hope the police department in Mascow is not only 24 patrol officers large, but it's possible that it is. But they're saying that it appears that these are the people dedicated to this this case, and it's 4 detectives, 24 patrol officers, and 5 support staff. The FBI has 22 investigators in Mascow. That's pretty big. 22 investigators. They have 20 assigned agents located out of Treasure Valley, Idaho, Salt Lake City, Utah, and West Virginia. 2 behavioral analysis unit. That's amazing because the behavioral analysis are key in a lot of these cases in identifying at least the type of person you're looking for. So that's great to hear. The Idaho State Police has 20 investigators, 15 troopers, public information officer, crime scene services, and mobile crime scene team, and 15 uniform patrol to assist with community patrols. So this case is being well staffed by a lot of good people. So we have a total of about, I would say, 46 investigators / detectives on this case. That is huge. I believe that they have a lot of information that they definitely have not told the public. With this many boots on the ground, investigators, detectives, and the support staff to accompany all of them. So again, I don't know who you sent this. Who was this? Was this from, Heaven 57? Thank you. I think I passed your super sticker. I apologize. So we do have information. That is the information. Unfortunately, it's not necessarily what we want to hear. We want answers, and we have none. Even after all this information that we have received, we still have no slam dunk information. You know, we're all over the board. There are many different things, from random acts, stalker, crime of passion, crime of opportunity, the thrill kill. We definitely have a lot of perspectives related to this, and nobody knows. It's still right now a classic whodunit. My personal perspective is I truly believe this was personal. You know, this is personal. I don't know if many of you guys seen Olivia Vitale's Chronicle of Olivia's post on her YouTube page. Kaylee followed her, guys. Kaylee followed Olivia on her TikToks. So and this is the eerie part of this, is that she followed our true crime, and now we're covering her case. That is what is so hard, I think, for me in all of this, is that it's one of our audience members. We're covering one of our audience members' hooks. I just want that I want to let you guys let that sink in for a little bit. You know, this is one of our audience members that we're now covering her case. And it's hard. It's hard. You know, I come on here and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you guys. You know what I'm saying? And to think that I'm, you know, having to cover one of your cases. I mean, that's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And you know, this day and age on YouTube, you got to show these damn receipts. So let me go over here and see if I can pull up Chronicle of Olivia. She's even got it on her thing. But it's just sad. And, you know, I don't even know. I really don't even know how I feel about that. I outside of heartbroken. There it is. Right there. Deepest condolences to the friends and family of the 4 murdered at Idaho University. Kaylee, one of the 4, followed me on TikTok. I don't know how to explain it, but it's eerie. It's an eerie feeling to think she watched my videos and knew who I was. And if she knew Chronicles of Olivia, she definitely knew me. And that's sad. So when people say that this doesn't hit home, you know, this does hit home. And this hits home for the Bullhorn Betty channel. This hits home for Chronicles of Olivia. This hits home for JLR. You know, this hits home. And it's just, it's sad. And this is the ugly part of life. So it's just, you know, it's hard, but it gives us even that much more strength to keep awareness of these people out here in Idaho. You know, keep awareness to this case, you know, follow this case. This was one of us. This was one of us that was killed out there, guys. And I don't take too kindly of that. So we're going to, you know, we're going to be following this case. And this is going to be one of those that we're going to follow to the very end, kind of like Gabby Petito, because, you know, again, she's one of us. If you guys know how I got involved with Gabby Petito, it's because one of her family members, not her mommy, not her daddy, not, you know, but one of her family members reached out to JLR and asked them to, you know, please help, find out anything you can. Nobody knows anything. And, you know, he reached out to me, and that's how Gabby Petito got started. This is, you know, that was personal to us because we knew family that knew Gabby. This is, again, similar to that. We know, you know, this girl followed us. She watched us. She knew who I was. She knew who Chronicles of Olivia, you know, is and was. You know, that's just, What is this? I still cry that I got bullied. I'm not sure. Courtney, I'm sorry, Courtney. I don't know who you got bullied from. Hopefully it's not from this channel. A lot of students went home. I hope Ellie spoke with them before they left. For all we know, it could have been another student. You're exactly right, Heather Ann. It could absolutely have been another student. There is no doubt in my mind that this could have been another student. This could have been, this was somebody that they knew, in my opinion. I know we have a lot of different theories going around, but I'm speculating based on what I have in my knowledge and my experience. And it's usually 9 times out of 10, somebody period. Unconscious person was someone who fainted, somebody who came to visit, bringing the dog back, walked by and came to investigate. There was a person passed out. That's how they seen the crime scene. Wow. It's odd. It's weird. I wonder if they targeted one of the girls, opened the room where the couple was asleep and felt threatened, so got them first, moved upstairs. Girl could have been in one room. Yeah, the girl, because they're best friends, and we all know how best friends are. Guys are different. Guys are much, much different. You can't stick 2 grown men in a bed together and it feel comfortable to them unless they're very confident in their manhood. Okay. There are men that just don't give a crap like women, right? They're confident in their manhood. They ain't worried about another guy fiddling with them at night. You know what I'm saying? Like your BFF, you don't have to worry about that. But girls are we've never been like that. Like we can sleep in the bed together. You know what I'm saying? Right? If we had to share a bed and we got drunk or something and sat there and talked all night and fell asleep, it would be no big deal. But for guys, it's much different. But yeah, the girls could have been in one room. They were best friends. I guarantee they've had to split a bed many times over their years growing up, because it sounded like they were best friends from childhood on up. God, that's just awful. It's like their family lost 2 family members because they had been best friends for so long. I'm sure their families were pretty much married together due to their children's friendship. I mean, I remember my mom, and there's a lot of parents that become friends because of their children, right? Because the children became friends and they have, play dates and things like that. Next thing you know, the moms are BFFs, the kids are BFFs. They do everything together. And that's the way it is for years and years and years and years. And it's just, it's an extension of your family, even though they're not blood related. So the press conference is at 3 Idaho time. If you're on East Coast, it will be 5. Okay, well, I'm not going to be online. Thank you, Bulldog Tracy, for that. I'm not going to be online much longer. I do appreciate you guys coming here and spending your time with me. It's absolutely, without a doubt, much appreciated. If you like the content, you want to help sponsor a trip, you want to help, the best way to do that is through PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. We haven't really talked about, you guys know we're about to go out. We haven't talked about dates. We haven't talked about our following, or, not our following, but our dates of travel, or what our plans are. And due to the nature of what happened in Savannah, Georgia, that was one I really didn't care. I didn't expect people to do all that out there, and I'm not even talking about the protests. I'm talking about all the junk that came out there because we were out there, the garbage. Because of that, I will still continue to do my work. These haters are going to hate, and they're going to hate me bad because I do great work, and they are doing shit. They do shit. They do nothing for their community. They waste space. That's all they do. And but because of that, I'm not going to be telling people where I'm going or where I'm getting there. When I get there, you guys will see it. So if you guys would like to sponsor the trip, by all means, sponsor our next trip this way, or you can wait until we're out there and we go live and sponsor it when we're there. Doesn't matter to me. Either way, we're still going to continue to go and go and go. We're going to continue to do great work. We're going to continue to bring these stories to you in with boots on the ground. And we're going to do it despite all the haters, Thank you, haters, for building my channel up, because you know what? People left your channel to come over here to watch good people do great work instead of complaining about everything else in their life, right? We don't complain. We don't make excuses, right? That's not what we do here on Bullhorn Betty. There's a problem, we go out and we put everything behind it and trying to fix it. We don't bitch about it. We don't complain about it. We don't cry like crybabies. We're not part of the sob squad. If we see something wrong in this country, the people that I'm in and around actually get our asses up out of these chairs and go out and make a difference. And that's what we will do. It's what we will continue to do. And you know what? To all the haters, keep hating. Bullhorn Betty's still going to keep being Bullhorn Betty. And with that, guys, I want you guys to be fearless. Fearless, fearless, fearless. You guys make your own destiny. Each and every day you wake up, you can have a crappy day or you can have a great day. It is all up to you. The only person you're in control of 100% of the time, 24/7, is not anybody else. It's yourself. It's yourself. So with all that, guys, you know, if you see something, say something. We don't know what happened out here. Could this have been prevented? Could this have been preventable? You know, we're learning. Every day we're learning something new about this case. And as we learn things new, we're going to be changing our theories and start, you know, honing in on what really happened out here. But until then, there's still a lot on the table. And it is a classic whodunit so far. Again, we are talking about multiple theories: random, stalker, crime of passion, crime of opportunity, and thrill kill are all on the table. And those are the ones that we have listed so far. We haven't even gotten into, you know, who they didn't like, who they did like, you know, all this other stuff. But to me, this really does have a hallmark of targeted. And if it was targeted, that means it was personal. The overkill, the multiple stab wounds, the goriness of this thing, I just don't see, I don't see it any other way. It feels almost rage-like, but not. You know, there's a lot of people dead and a lot of blood, but was this a rage? Or was this premeditated, targeted killing for one of the girls, or Ethan or Zena? You know, as like I said, as we start rolling through this, we'll get some more information out to you. But that's all I have to present today. I hope it was beneficial to each and every one of you. Don't forget to go out there and like this. If you'd like to share it, please share it on your Facebook, your Twitters, your TikToks. Get this out there and let people know that we are going to be covering this case. We are going to be diving in deep into this case. We are going to find out the people in and around these kids. I mean, we're talking about a lot of people. This was a college campus. So we've got our work cut out, in addition to still following up with Summer Wells, still monitoring the Michael Vaughn case, still monitoring the Quentin Simon case. We left poor Cody Bigsby in the dust, and that poor little baby needs to be, we need to start talking about his case as well. Just so much is going on out there. It's almost too much. It's hard to keep up with, and our hearts bleed for the victims. So with that, guys, have an amazing Sunday. God bless each and every one of you. And until next time, we'll see you later.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.